Today on America's Court with Judge Ross.
You can't go after the college. You can't go after the league. So the only person left is Mr. Myers.
He's the only one guilty.
Well, who else would there be to sue?
Nobody else but him, because he's the one who's responsible for my injuries.
In my courtroom, it's about equity and fairness. Stop. Is that true? I don't want you to understand. I want you to overstand.
Yes, sir.
That's why they pay me the big bucks. Justice should be more than just some foreign concept. I actually want you to learn something.
That's not gonna happen. Not up in here, not today.
And boom goes the dynamite.
Fair, firm, compassionate. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Corey Bartlett claims he suffered multiple concussions after a football coach told players to target him during games, and says he lost his athletic scholarship due to the injuries.
All rise. Remain standing and come to order. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Kevin Ross presiding.
Mr. Bartlett is suing Mitchell Myers in the amount of $10,000.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated.
All parties have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Deputy Thomas. Mr. Bartlett, you are making some strong accusations here.
Yes, Your Honor.
As it relates to Mr. Myers, Coach Myers, probably referred to by many. And you're saying that his actions resulted in you suffering some injuries that then ultimately led to you not being able to take advantage of an athletic scholarship.
Yeah, that's correct, Your Honor.
You want Mr. Myers to pay in the amount of $10,000, which would reflect the loss of that scholarship. Prove your case.
I've been playing football my whole life. I come from a football family.
And you're like 60 now, right?
Okay, I'm 18 years old. Just graduated high school, but I've been playing football since
life.
All right, since I could walk.
Okay.
I've been playing football.
Yes.
And during the off season, I played for this team called the Plaintiff Rattlers in the spring.
So you play year round.
Yes, sir.
So this means a lot to you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Myers, let me hear your story about how you got involved with this
Good morning, Your
football.
Honor.
Good morning, sir.
I have also been in sports, particularly football, all my life. Through high school, college, I had scholarships from one of the well-known colleges, and I decided not to go.
Have you had any issues during the tenure of your coaching experience?
I can't think of any, and this is the first time I have been in court regarding how I managed my team or how I coached.
Let's talk about that, because Mr. Bartlett, you're saying that you feel as though Coach Myers' actions as it relates to his players were intentional and that you were targeted.
That's right, Your Honor. That's right.
How do you prove that, sir?
During the spring season, my team, the Plainview Rattlers, played against his team twice, and in both occasions, I sustained concussions. So the first time we played against them, I was in the pocket getting ready to throw the ball, as I usually do. And then when I threw it, one of his players, per his instructions, tackled me from behind.
Well, you can't say that with certainty. You can only describe what you observed while you were on the field. You don't know what conversations have transpired between the coach and his players, or even amongst themselves as to, okay, we're gonna teach him a lesson. We're gonna sit him on his butt for a minute. But ultimately what ended up happening was one of the players on the opposing team hit you in such a way.
That's right. He hit me well after I threw the ball, from behind as well, which is, you know.
But did he,
And
it
he
was
was
something
penalized
about
for it.
spearing you. Is that in this incident or another one?
That's the second incident.
That was the
if I
second
get
one where there was a spearing that took
Yes, sir.
place.
Yes, yeah. So that's a...
Using the top of the helmet, the crown, to go in.
Correct, Your Honor.
How much time went by from the first incident to the second incident?
3 months.
All right, continue.
The second time I played Coach Myers' team, I was running
Who
down
won the first time, by the way?
They did.
They did. Okay.
Yeah. But to be fair, that, you know, I was out for the rest of the game. I went to the hospital.
The first time?
Yes.
After that hit, you could not continue to play?
I was not able to continue, no. I was diagnosed with a mild concussion. And I have evidence here to prove my medical records.
From the first time or the second time?
Both.
All right, so you went and had some observations made with respect to the extent of your injuries. It was determined to be mild, and they said I'm sure the protocol was you couldn't play for a while.
I couldn't play for 3 weeks.
All right, 3 weeks, and then you're back out there going at it.
Yes, Your Honor. So, yeah.
And then 3 months later, you're back with this team. Had you had any other situations where you had been hit
No, Your Honor.
Or suffer any sort of concussion?
No, Your Honor.
But here we are again playing the same team. So now it's a rematch.
And now it's a rematch, and the same thing but worse happens this time. I was running down the sidelines with the football, and one of his players speared me. I mean, which you know what that means, which means he uses, instead of tackling over the shoulder or anything like that, he used his helmet as a weapon, essentially.
And that's considered illegal, correct?
Correct. Depending on the severity of it, obviously there are coaches, there are referees on the field.
Did you feel as though that was a fair call, that it was identified as a spearing situation?
It was a foul, but it was not that my player was never ejected from the game.
Coming up on America's Court.
And are you saying that as a result of the spearing incident, that knocked you out of contention?
Yes, Your Honor.
For the scholarship?
Yes, Your Honor. So what happened was...
And the scholarship was for how much?
$10,000.
If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. This is America's Court with Judge Ross, Emmy nominated for Outstanding Legal Courtroom Program. America's Court is back with the case of Corey Bartlett, who is suing Mitchell Myers for negligence.
Mr. Myers, continue.
The referees decided as to how bad it was. And if it was that bad, that vicious, or perhaps intentional, they will eject the player.
Well, the ref was clearly behind that game because he should have been ejected. I was cleared off on a stretcher, extremely dizzy.
Well, I'm surprised why the referee is not here, Your Honor.
Felt nauseous, dizzy, almost vomited. Earlier in the season, I received a partially athletic scholarship from a local college to play football there. And now... When
you started...
Before the season started, before the spring league season started. But it was
contingent upon you being able to accept the offer. And
it was contingent on me being healthy enough.
Exactly.
Come the season starting.
And are you saying that as a result of the spearing incident, that knocked you out of contention?
Yes, Your Honor.
For the scholarship?
Yes, Your Honor. So what happened was...
And the scholarship was for how much?
$10,000.
You have proof of the offer, as well as that includes the amount?
I have proof of the offer being revoked, Your Honor. Because I was deemed too much of a risk.
Revoked.
Because I was deemed too much of a risk to take on due to the injuries I sustained.
All right, mild brain injury, mild traumatic. And then you have the second, and this one says moderate to traumatic. And this is the college saying they have to revoke because in good conscience, they don't feel as though you are going to be able to take advantage due to your 2 recent head injuries.
Yes, Your Honor.
And they didn't feel as though it was in your best interest to play football there. It's a risk they couldn't afford to take. So you can't go after the college because you never started there to begin with. You can't go after the league, so the only person left
that's not the case, Your Honor. Like, he's not the only one left. He's the only one guilty.
Well, who else would there be to sue?
Nobody else but him, because he's the one who's responsible for my injuries.
Okay.
Your Honor.
So let's talk about that. You have a witness.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm going to have a conversation with both of you. Have that witness come on up. What's your last name, sir?
Wellers.
Wellers?
Brian Wellers.
Mr. Wellers, why are you here, sir?
I'm here because, to be honest, I wouldn't be here if I didn't have to. And I think this situation is completely ridiculous, and I'm here to support Corey's case.
When you say this situation is ridiculous, what are you referring to?
So basically, Coach Myers was my ex-coach.
How long were you a player for Coach Myers?
Just 1 year.
Coach Myers, do you recognize Mr. Wellers?
Yes, Your Honor, I do. And
was he, in fact, on your team under your guidance and leadership for a 1 year period?
That is correct.
All right. And what were you going to say, Mr. Wellers?
Well, I played as a safety. My position was safety, and as part of me and the defense team, one of his main rules, except making sure we win the games, his main focus was pretty much injuring the other players.
Coach Myers said, my objective in working with you young men is that you injure the other opposing team.
Objection, Your Honor.
He had a bounty system, a reward system
that rewarded his own players. You had Mr. Wellers come here, so I'm letting him speak.
Coach Myers had a bounty system where each player would get points depending on the tackle we commit on the opposing team's player. So it was a pretty simple system.
Was there some sort of bounty system involving points in your program, sir?
Your Honor, there was a system that they call it bounty system. It is not. Basically, it was an encouragement and recognition system
was a bounty
that we
system.
gave to the players.
All right, so now we're talking semantics.
You got points for,
So
for injuring
let's
star
take
players.
our, sir, slow your roll. We have some sort of system where points are given
Yes, Your Honor.
based on
Based on good plays.
good plays.
Meaning that if a player, obviously the game is all tackle. If a player tackles and misses the running back or whatever, obviously that's a 0. If they do a clean tackle and obviously stop it somehow, that was like a point. Hey, you did good. But there are some players that actually what they do is once they tackle, they drive the other player further back. So basically what they do, they even gain a yardage. So these
They
were
gain
basic-
advantage.
Right,
Your
exactly.
objective shouldn't be
And-
to injure the opposing
But
team's
hang-
players.
hang
Matters
on.
which your players
That is
tackled
it.
me
No,
was
no, no,
not.
no.
Gentlemen,
Listen.
we're not doing all that up in here.
Listen,
That's not, sir,
but-
Mr. Wellers, you played for Mr. Myers, which makes sense to me that you would give some sort of point system for a job well done, but you're saying it went beyond that.
Yes, so I didn't finish the point system. Pretty much the most points you would get is if you would injure the player with your foul.
He said, if you injure a player, I'm going to get you an extra, you're going to
points.
get extra points.
So pretty much you get 1 point for just a simple tackle, 2
He
points for a foul.
said, if you
did.
injure another player, you're going to get
objection,
it.
Your Honor.
Sir,
Speculation.
your objection is overruled.
And then to make the whole situation even worse, he had a target list of all the best players in the league. And if one of our defenders was able to injure one of those targeted players, we would get a couple bonus points.
And what was the ultimate win in terms of a collection of these points? At the end of the day, did you get money? Was there a dinner?
No money, no dinner. He had pretty much a Hawkeye award that the
You were
player
given
with the
some
most
sort
points.
of recognition in the
Exactly.
form of a
pretty much,
trophy.
It's pretty much
or-
bragging rights.
All right. What Mr. Wellers is saying is potentially very damaging, sir.
Coming up on America's Court.
I am a role model. I have to do what's best. Could never, ever just basically say, oh, you have to go hit somebody and make sure you injure them.
This is America's Court with Judge Ross, Emmy nominated for Outstanding Legal Courtroom Program. America's Court is back with the case of Corey Bartlett, who is suing Mitchell Myers for negligence.
What do you feel is the motivation, if there's any, that Mr. Wellers would have, given that he played on your team, to say the things that he's sharing with the court right now?
If I may, Your Honor, after being in football so long, going to being trained as a coach, and obviously coaching these teenagers, I am a role model. I have to do what's best in order to be a good role model. Could never, ever bring out and just basically say, oh, you have to go hit somebody and make sure you injure them. There's absolutely, the wording is not there, and it's speculation or his interpretation of what I
It's
said.
not speculation if he hears you say you get points for injuring a player.
Clean tackle.
No.
Good
no,
tackle.
You get points for a clean.
Clean tackle, good tackle,
No.
driving them back. These are
But
all.
you're saying the words that came out of his mouth were, if you quote unquote injure another player,
Not correct.
Yes.
you get points.
Yes, you're right, Your Honor.
I'm finding it really challenging to think that you all were playing against each other and you were on Mr. Myers, Coach Myers' team, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you're saying even when you all played against each other, this is what was going on as it relates to Mr. Bartlett?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you say anything to him at the time that this was
I
going
didn't
on?
because I was younger. I didn't think it's that of a big issue. I understood the logic behind tackling players and, winning the games, which actually was one of his tactics. He wanted to get rid of all of the good players in the league by injuring them.
Coming up on America's Court.
He's a quarterback. Maybe he doesn't even understand what his position is. When he holds on to the ball, he's going to get hit.
Don't think it escaped me that you kind of got your digs in and you're a grown man.
This is America's Court with Judge Ross, Emmy nominated for Outstanding Legal Courtroom Program. America's Court is back with the case of Corey Bartlett, who is suing Mitchell Myers for negligence.
Are we talking about two different players in the two different incidences that occurred that ended up causing you the concussion? Or were we talking about one particular player?
Two different players.
Two different players.
Two different players?
Yes, yes.
Do you have any evidence, sir?
Yes, sir.
What do you have?
If I may. Your Honor, when we're playing another team, we normally view all the previous games, the previous videos, and distinguish basically who's playing what and how, and try to find their actually weak spots, meaning that if somebody is, running well from the right and not left, obviously what we want to do is force them to run to the left so we can, obviously do better against that.
So you gave me a scouting report.
Correct. Now, if that scouting report, if you actually see, is that basically here it shows his playing pattern. Basically shows that he actually defies the coach's directions as to what he should do as a quarterback.
I'm
he should
just a pretty
release
good
the ball.
Quarterback, so you're taking it to hurt me.
This is a scouting report, and it's not my report. It's coming from scouters that are professionals and
That are just objectively
exactly
calling balls and strikes.
So it just shows his pattern of playing, basically running instead of actually throwing the ball. He's a quarterback. Maybe he doesn't even understand what his position is. And therefore, obviously, when he holds on to the ball and they're trying to actually sack,
I'm more athletic than the average quarterback, so I can afford
he's going to get
maneuver past some players before I throw the ball.
Don't think it escaped me that you kind of got your digs in, and you're a grown man.
Judge Ross's verdict when America's Court returns. This is America's Court with Judge Ross, Emmy nominated for Outstanding Legal Courtroom Program.
Both times you were tackled while you were holding the ball, right?
The first time I was tackled after I threw the ball.
The second time it was you running the ball.
Yes.
Because what I have to decide is, did Coach Myers actually say to players, you get points for injuring an opposing player? I think any coach that does that needs to be prosecuted and charged criminally with injury to another person. So these allegations are serious. We're talking about someone committing felonious crimes toward another person, which could result in their liberties being taken. So the court has to be convinced beyond a preponderance of the evidence that this particular defendant would be that callous and careless to say specifically, I want you young men to go out and commit crimes. That's what you're asking me to conclude.
Yes, Your Honor.
And based on the evidence and the testimony before this court, the gavel has to come down in favor of the defendant, because I cannot make that conclusion based on the information that I had here. Your matter's dismissed, sir. That is the order.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Case closed.
All rise.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's case has been dismissed.
I told you guys, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to countersue you, and not $10,000, $100,000.
We have his word against yours. You got very fortunate today. That's it.
This has been a production of Allen Media Group.